Chapter 1. What is cannabis? Cannabis is a plant which has evolved alongside humankind for thousands of years. Its specific origins are disputed, but many agree the lineage resides somewhere within Asia. Cannabis is the genus of a group of annual flowering plants from the family Cannabaceae, which also contains plants such as humulus, hops, and celtis, hackberries, within its family. There has been recognised debate in the past amongst the botanical community regarding the number of cannabis species. In his classification of plants, 1753, Carolus Linnaeus produced his taxonomy, which formally identified cannabis as Cannabis sativa linnaeus, and made but one species, sativa, within its genus. It wasn't too long before disagreement towards this identification arose. In 1785, eminent biologist Jean-Baptiste Lamarck analysed the stalks, leaf structure, and flower formation of hemp plants native to India and concluded there was a different species within the genus of cannabis. This other species, Cannabis indica. Lamarck stated it to be a different species from that in Europe due to its smaller size and thicker leaves. Another piece in the cannabis species confusion was provided by a Russian biologist named Januszewski, who has identified Cannabis ruderalis as another species of cannabis, due to its differences in size and shape. A notable difference between sativa, indica, and ruderalis lies in the physical appearance of the plants. Sativa is tall in stature, growing more than 10 feet in optimum conditions, with a wide and thinly fingered leaf, whereas indica is a short plant by comparison, rarely exceeding 6 feet in optimum conditions. Flowering time for sativa is usually 12 weeks, whereas for indica, being a shorter growing time overall. When consumed, the effects are also used to identify if the plant is sativa or indica. Sativa provides an energizing effect, often associated with creativity and sociability, whereas indica has been noted to provide a sedating effect, and is associated with what is known as couch lock, the sensation that one doesn't want to leave the vicinity of the couch, accompanied with several snacks and beverages. Although characteristics such as an energizing effect or a social effect can easily be and frequently are found in indica strains, in the same way characteristics such as a sedating or couch lock effect can be found within many sativa strains. Cannabis ruderalis is somewhat of a lesser known strain of cannabis. Ruderalis is like indica in appearance with its short stature, although occasionally has more of a stretch characteristic in the formation of its flowers. Usually low in THC, ruderalis has higher levels of CBD. Today's growers use ruderalis to create what is known as autoflower cannabis strains. Autoflowers do not rely on sunlight to dictate when to flower, but instead flower based on a predetermined life cycle within the seed. Autoflowers are marketed as producing a yield in a quicker time frame, which is why this variety has become so popular in recent years. Breeders use the genetics of ruderalis for its quick and flexible flowering time and combine this with the more potent characteristic of a more favourable strain to create potent cannabis strains which have a quick flowering time. Cannabis contains both male and female sexes. The female cannabis plant produces flower thick with resin, whilst the male produces seeds which swell and burst, sticking to the thick resin and fertilizing the females. The thick resin on the surface of the plant is formed by a collection of trichomes. Trichomes are extremely fine outgrowths which grow on the surface of the leaves and the flowers of cannabis and can sometimes be seen with a magnified lens in the later stages of flowering. Trichomes are also the production and storage area for hundreds of cannabinoids, flavonoids, and terpenes. This will be discussed in depth in a later section. Occasionally, cannabis can produce hermaphrodites, which are flowers that also contain seeds. This is seen as undesirable and can be caused by several reasons, such as poor growing technique, insufficient lighting, or nutrient deficiency, which then causes the plant to produce seeds as a result of stress. Hermaphrodites are also used for producing new varieties of cannabis, crossbreeding a female and a male to produce the seeds of a new strain. In recent years, there has also been a predominance of hybrid cannabis strains. In the same flowers, hybrids are the result of crossbreeding sativa and indica strains to incorporate the most favoured characteristics from both parents into one product. Crossbreeding is conducted for creating strains of higher potency for a stronger or more flavourful product, but in a larger part has been conducted to create a number of diverse strains which can be used to combat a wide range of illnesses and diseases. Hemp should be mentioned as many individuals who are not familiar with cannabis, and even those who are familiar, become confused as to what hemp is and where it fits into the cannabis family. Hemp is associated with all parts of the cannabis plant which are non-psychoactive. The generally accepted definition of hemp is regarded as cannabis which contains less than 0.3% THC. In the past, before the mass identification and labelling of cannabis, hemp was generally a term used to describe all cannabis varieties in the western part of the world, although an abundance of slang terms was also widely in use on a social level. Nowadays, hemp strains are specifically grown to have an extremely low THC content whilst having a high CBD content, medicine as well as food, fuel and working materials. The agricultural production of hemp is a more sustainable and eco-friendly alternative to the environmentally harmful production of synthetic cotton and other artificial fabrics currently in use. Hemp products have a reputation for being extremely durable. In 1941, visionary innovator Henry Ford used soya, hemp, flax and sisal cellulose plastic to make the body of a car. The durability of the plant-based car can be seen in an easily accessible video showing Ford demonstrating the superiority of bioplastic cars by repeatedly hitting the bodywork with a sledgehammer, causing relatively little damage in comparison to the steel-bodied cars opposite. Hemp seed, although technically a nut, is very beneficial to the human body when eaten. Extremely rich in omega-3 and omega-6, hemp seeds also contain gamma-linoleic acid, which has been linked to several health benefits including anti-inflammation. Hemp typically contains 30% oil and 25% protein, with the minerals and vitamins. The main proteins stored within hemp seed are edestin and albumin, which are both easily digestible and highly beneficial to the body. Hemp also has high levels of arginine, one of the essential amino acids required for bone and muscle growth. The number of products in which cannabis can be used is significant to say the least, with it often being referred to as the 25,000 uses. A small indicator of the diverse capabilities of cannabis is shown by the following list of possible uses, including but not limited to bread, t-shirts, rope, concrete, trousers, wood, linen, candles, paint, lotion, carpets, heavy-duty tarpaulins, animal feed, oil, biofuel, paper, sailing equipment, soap, milk, fishing lines, hats, nets, cosmetics, towels, fertilizers, furniture, and fibers. The agricultural benefit of producing hemp exceeds that of any other commercial crop, including cotton. Hemp requires much less water than cotton to grow, and requires zero pesticides or artificial fertilizers to produce its yield, whereas cotton has been noted to be one of the most pesticide-dependent crops in production. Pesticides in the commercial production of cotton results in the hospitalization of between 25 million and 77 million agricultural workers each year due to pesticide poisoning. Hemp does not share this danger for worker safety in its production. Hemp also produces a yield in a relatively short time period, usually between 90 to 110 days, whereas cotton's lifespan is generally between 150 to 160 days. When comparing yields of product per acreage, hemp, on average, produces approximately 680 kilograms per acreage of land, whilst cotton produces approximately 230 kilograms. Meagre by comparison. Hemp also benefits the soil by allowing for aeration, whilst cleansing the soil of toxins and preventing soil erosion for future crops. In comparison to other crops such as cotton, which strip the land of nutrients, toxify the soil with pesticides, and require the use of artificial fertilizers to maintain annual production levels. Furthermore, hemp, referring to its narcotic use pre-20th century, has been documented as a safe substance for human consumption for thousands of years. In 1893, at the height of the British colonial rule of the Indian subcontinent, the British government wanted to inquire into the social and cultural effects that long-term hemp use had on the region. The result was the Indian Hemp Drugs Commission of 1893 to 1894, 7 volumes of over 3,000 pages, which is still to date the largest cross-cultural study of hemp use and its derivatives. The report, which involved interviewing over 2,000 individuals, from medical practitioners to missionaries, in over 30 cities across India, studied the effects of hemp drugs on physical, mental, and moral well-being. The report stated the effect of moderate hemp consumption on the physical condition produced practically no evil results at all, and any form of injurious response by consuming hemp was most likely a result of overuse. The mental or psychological impact of hemp use, according to the report, was also extremely minimal, with any negative psychological response being the result of an oversensitivity within the individual consuming hemp, and not a result of the effects hemp use naturally produces. Finally, the moral impact of hemp use within the Indian subcontinent was negligible. The report found that moderate use of hemp has no negative effects on the integrity of the individual's character, but found that excessive overuse, or use by individuals whom are sensitive to hemp, will provide an amplification of any underlying negative psychological issues may be present. In recent years, hemp production has accelerated at a tremendous rate. In 2013, overall acreage of land used in the EU for hemp measured 15,700 hectares, whereas only 4 years later, in 2017, hemp was estimated to cover up to at least 42,500 hectares. Similar trend has been shown in the United States, with the total acreage used for hemp in 2017 being 10,405 hectares, but by 2018 this had increased to 31,636 hectares, an over 200% increase, with more expected after the United States passed its hemp farming bill in late 2018. Produce has been consistent for all hemp products in the last decade. Between 2010 and 2013, hemp seed production rose by 92%. However, this is minimal in comparison to hemp flower and leaves, which rose by 3,000% between 2010 and 2013. The rise in hemp products is likely due to the numerous health benefits of cannabidiol, now provides a rich source of CBD, which has contributed towards the hemp industry growing from approximately 1.8 billion in consumer sales in 2016 to 3.6 billion sales in 2019, with no sign of slowing down in the future.